Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Ethereum, helping you understand, kind of the best practice, big picture, and whole 9 yards, what's going on. But more importantly, we're going to take a look at some high block capital data here and just kind of generally look at the big picture and see roughly where we're at here with liquidation levels, open interest, and a handful of other things too. So just ask in the meantime, of course, if you're learning something, helping, help us grow the channel. We do have a awesome Twitter here that is actually slowly growing, and I really appreciate everyone for coming on over to help out. So again, we got some awesome stuff here, just consistent fundamentals, a lot of technical analysis, and just really keeping you up to date, giving you some good notes on everything that's going on right now. Okay, so just ask you go ahead and just check that out. Also, if you want to join up with BitGet, we have a promotion right now running until month end. We have an option for free private signal access, of course. All you gotta do is retweet, register with the link here, of course, and then email me to confirm, and we'll make sure that we get that over to you as well for some additional benefit. But right now, what we want to do is jump right into kind of some big picture stuff here. So we'll start with high block capital data, then we'll go ahead and transition over to the monthly and weekly charts here for Ethereum, kind of see what's going on, okay? So first things first, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at just the regular charts here. So this is Ethereum, of course, we can kind of see here so far, last 3 days we've seen some decent amount of liquidation, okay? A lot of longs getting liquidated, but that's pretty much par for the course. The thing we can recognize too, and we'll see this on the larger charts, is that we're basically on a consolidating at a Fibonacci retracement level right now. I think it's 0.382 if I'm not mistaken, and that's a positive sign, but we got to recognize that open interest is coming down. We have a lot of short positions open more so than long positions, and fear and greed index is kind of staying the same. So with fear and greed index kind of not being in this fear moment, that we have a good chance to be able to hold and maintain this point. But if we start getting in this red here area, we're going to start seeing some massive panic selling, and that could be a bad thing. All right, so taking a look here, of course, at the liquidation levels for Ethereum. This is for the last 7 days, if I recall correctly, yep. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick peek here. So we're looking at 2150, okay? So 2150 is the area in which the most amount of liquidations have occurred in the last 7 days. And keep in mind, these are not liquidations because the price technically never got that high. These are areas in which the price had some open positions that were closed. Okay, so keep in mind that encompasses a lot of different things there, but we can definitely see some liquidations that occurred here at the 1900 to 1860 range. And of course, we got some positions down here at 1680 that either A, never got filled, or B, got closed. Okay, so keep in mind that there's a lot of interest down at that level. Those are probably some sell targets for some folks, and the price never came down that low, so they closed their positions. Let's take a quick look at the shorts here. This is a starting point with the shorts. We can see that there's probably the most amount of shorts open right at about 1865. So a majority of those open interest shorts in the last, 12 hours are having some difficulty right now. In other words, they are in the red, okay? So that's not a good sign for the shorts. Could imply we might see a short squeeze potential. As for longs are actually in the green right now. They're long from about 1850, so they have a little bit of profit there on the bone. So all in all, kind of standard stuff there, but that does tell us is there's more interest at this level. Even though open interest is coming down, that's standard for a lot of coins right now. It's mainly because Bitcoin had 3 red days in a row. We're expecting a green day to close here today for Saturday for Bitcoin, and in turn that could cause a green candle here for Ethereum. So let's just jump right into the monthly and kind of see what's going on here. So this looks a little funky, of course, because I got these lines. These are previous hard forks and soft forks. I was looking at that previously, of course. We're not going to worry too much about that for right now. What we want to look at, though, is a few key factors. So first of all, Bitcoin's struggling on the monthly to close above 50 on the RSI, whereas Ethereum is pretty much right there above it and hasn't really truly gone below minus just 1 month. So that's a very positive sign in the overall sense of things. The MACD, honestly, don't have enough data there in that regard in this chart, but we want to look at a few other things though too as well with the weekly. First of all, we want to look at some moving averages and note that we are above both moving averages, very positive sign. Right now, I believe Bitcoin is having some difficulty being below the 20, but above 50 on the weekly. Okay, so that's a good sign here for Ethereum, but you got to recognize that this week, if this week closes where it's at or lower, we're going to probably see from further downside. Because we did have this instance whereas the price action on the weekly for Ethereum, if we'd closed at about, just say 1950 or higher, right here at this support level, then we'd probably have seen a bounce. Okay. For right now, though, the weekly candlestick looks like it's going to close below that, and it could imply that further downside is possible. While we're above both moving averages, those can work as a magnet sometimes to push the price action towards it, okay, or pull it down, if you will. Okay, so we don't want to, it's a lot of people get kind of confused about moving averages and that, they're support levels. Totally true, 100%. But they also work kind of as magnets in a lot of cases too, so there's a great chance we could see the price action pull towards either of these two levels. Now there's a solid chance that the 20-day SMA is going to work its way up, and the price will only touch that and continue upwards, right? But just keep in mind, as this continues here, while it's positive to have that convergence, so to speak, it doesn't just mean the price is going to shoot up. It implies that the price could pull towards it, okay? So just keep that in mind. So that's just some big picture stuff there on the weekly. Let's go ahead and go to the standard daily stuff here we look at. This is where things get kind of interesting. We're below 50 on the RSI for the daily, okay? Now in Ethereum's history, it's a really common characteristic for it to be extremely bullish above 50, as we can see here. This is extremely bullish behavior above 50. And when it gets below 50, it goes extremely bearish, right? So again, Ethereum is notorious for staying above 50 on the RSI at most times. But when it's below, just keep in mind, this is an example of when it was below, the price action does very poorly, okay? So again, I wouldn't expect a strong run like this for Ethereum in the immediate future. I would say that sideways and down would make a lot more sense considering we're under 50 for the moment. But you got to keep in mind, we just kind of barely got below 50 at the moment, right? We've only been there for a day or two. So it's a little too premature to kind of jump to any conclusions. I just want to be mindful that we want to look at that. The saving grace here is that we have the 50-day SMA working its way up, and that should and could very well work as a support level to push the price action higher. It's also running concurrent with this trend line here, and we got to kind of pay attention to that and see roughly what that's going to look like soon. Because again, with ascending trends, the 50 and the 20-day SMA commonly work together towards those things. So in that sense, this could very well be the bottom, and the price action could continue higher. But once again, if within another week or so we continue sideways and we do not continue to maintain an ascending type of trend, then I think further downside would make a lot more sense. Okay. We also want to take a quick peek here at, I'm curious here about the volume. I recognize there's probably a tremendous amount of volume down here, which there is a 1650, but there's not a lot of volume at the current price point. So that really just implies that we need to build that healthy foundation before we can leg up again. So I'd say if within the next week or so, we're going to know pretty definitively what's going on. I know you could say that probably across the board with a lot of things, including Bitcoin, but I'm going to wait and hold off on a position here. We just took some massive profits for our recent trade here. In fact, if you take a quick look, took a nice short from about 1980 to 1842. And as a community, again, we don't take these aggressive trades like this. This is more so my personal account. But I can tell you that as a community, we took some healthy trades too there as well. And we took, I think it was somewhere in the range of, 57% in 3 hours yesterday. So really, really cool thing. We caught that little last drop. But for right now, I wouldn't expect the price to go down or up immediately. It really depends on what Bitcoin wants to do, and Bitcoin's going to be probably stuck on stupid at the current price point of 17.4 to 17.9 range. That's kind of the anticipation. All right, so that's kind of where we're at there on the daily. All in all, I would say kind of fair to middling. I don't see any definitive direction at this point. Well, there's some goods and some bads. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. The bad here is that we're underneath the 200-day SMA, currently rejecting at that point. I don't know if you can see that. My purple is a little light, but right there, at about 1875, that's a potential rejection area. We've also got the RSI that was extremely oversold and coming back up here past 30, and a MACD convergence. Okay, so keep in mind, these are good, strong swing trade signals. So to me, looking at the 200-day SMA versus that of a MACD convergence and an RSI that's pretty low, I think Ethereum has more potential to increase, at least up to this level here at about 1940, and potentially to reject at that level. Now again, there's no guarantees here, but it would make sense for the price action to kind of do one of those to come up and get rejected at that key support / Fibonacci range. Okay. Again, keep in mind, previous resistance level turned support, turned resistance. Okay. So you can see that, right? The price action got rejected here, broke cleanly through. Mind you, Bitcoin was trending towards 31,000 at that time. And of course, Ethereum comes down here to test this support range, holds for a little bit longer, and drops. So we can disseminate that this will be a new resistance level, holding the price action in place to effectively fulfill, maybe a double bottom, double top. I mean, there's a lot of different patterns you can kind of pull from this. I try not to get too crazy with patterns, but I can tell you that it would make sense for the price to reject that level. And the reason why we have head and shoulders patterns and cup and handle is because they test key level resistances and break through or not, right? This is a case in point where the price action should reject and should not go past that level because it was a definitive rejection point previously. Okay. Again, if Bitcoin continues to sell off, Ethereum comes up, it'll probably reject off that level. It just makes a lot of sense. All right, so again, that's kind of where we're at there for Ethereum here. Looking pretty good here so far. Take a look at the hourly. We can kind of see that TD sequential is telling us we're at a 7. We previously hit an 8. So we're getting close to the end of this little continuation. I would say within the next couple of hours, we could see a reversal. Keep in mind if that next low is essentially higher than the previous low, it's higher than this guy here, then we're in good shape to see a continuation upwards. So to me, consideration of a long position for Ethereum in the range of somewhere about just say 1860 might be viable. Okay. Now I'm curious to see what our golden indicator tells us here. It does say we have a sell signal right there that just occurred, but it also tells us that we had a couple of confirmational signs here recently to take a long position. So we kind of missed that boat, right? And that's okay. You miss opportunities all the time in trading. That's how it goes. But generally speaking, the CC golden indicator, really good about finding those golden opportunities, hence the word that we gave it, and obviously finding those nice little sell targets too. So hypothetically, you'd taken that entry, you'd be up a good 1.5%, maybe 15 to 30% if you were using 10 to 20x leverage. Okay. Again, different strokes for different folks there, but generally speaking, the proof here is showing that we are potentially going to trend further up towards that 1940 range with a strong rejection chance at that level to potentially get that rejection off the second shoulder on the head and shoulders pattern on its way down. All right, so we'll take a quick look at this again here soon. I get a lot of requests for Ethereum, so we're just trying to keep this more of a consistency for us. But I do appreciate you watching. Hopefully you watched through to the end. Congratulations if you did. It shows that you're willing to try to become a better trader. And if so, consider becoming a community member here as well. CryptoCash.tech, we got some awesome opportunities. We're actually having day trade signals coming to our community soon, and I'm super, super excited about that because with our current trades right now, we're looking very, very healthy in the sense of our swing trades, and adding day trades to that is awesome. Okay, so again, here's that trade, 57% in 2 hours and 35 minutes for Ethereum. And then, of course, we took some Bitcoin profits there as well. That trade's still open at about 28.5%. Okay, so nice little profits to be taken in about 2 or 3 hours, right? Not a lot of folks can do that in this market, and it's just great to be able to catch some of those shorts on the way down. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Thanks again for joining me. Hope you have a great rest of the day. We'll see you all in the next one. Take care.